Ozzy, because guess where he just got rebooted?
Cooper, Zemi, Flakes, they're all looking up at the sky. Ozzy doing everything he can to try and duck it out, but he's gonna get knocked one more time. Somebody's sure to clean him up. That'll be gone, but Alex and Loser Fruit, they've recognized, hey, if there's gonna be somebody getting eliminated this early on, we wanna make sure that we could possibly get involved, and everyone's starting to creep up now into this Dirty Docks area.
Even had Faxity and Reason going on over there as Setty and Daya with 2 eliminations. 19 teams left in the game, which means they sent one of them packing early here for game number 2.
Oh,
and that's got to start to boost the confidence right there for Setty and Daya, because now they got position on one of the high hills here on the map, and they can kind of just play it by ear.
Aussie is so used to watching the pros be victims, but now he's on the receiving end. He just cannot touch the ground. Everybody just aiming up, trying to prevent him from getting any sense of survivability. And Peterbot, he's gonna completely scatter. He's trying to make as much space as possible so that his duo could actually try and be a contender here in Lobby 2.
I kind of know what this feels like right now. Getting put in the blender, you're getting put into a smoothie right now. But they figured it out. Peterbot was able to create enough distance so when Ozzy got rebooted yet again, they're more closer towards Slurpee Swamp. But you got to remember, it was Booga and Typical Gamer that got those early eliminations onto Ozzy, and they already moved into that POI. Ooh!
Alex getting mixed up here with Nate Hill, but Nate Hill, that's going to be a fast elimination. Regs now just looking to pull back. She needs to disengage. Defense is the best offense at times, and Regs knows Alex not trying to let up the pressure anytime soon. With Nate dropping back into the lobby, if he's not careful, he could get eliminated one more time. Alex nearly picking off Nate on the landing, and he'll get the job done, finish what he started. And Nate just gonna have to sit and hope that Regs is gonna be able to play a little bit more defense for him so he can actually touch down.
Man, these were the fears. These were the fears. Talking to Alex, even Kanata, that you can't split and play that way because it's like a beacon. You're like a flare in the ocean. They know exactly where you're respawning at, and now Alex has found the actual player keeping the whole thing alive with all the loot, which is Regs, getting pressured in by Loser Flute on one side, Alex playing box to box on the other. The top was already taken, and now he's moving in to try to clean up this elimination onto Regs, and he does so with ease. The numbers game is just too much.
But with how close we are to Boom and Maze, that might actually draw the attention of the Gentlemates, Nikov and Podicide. They're starting to kind of poke their heads on over. They've got a good idea that maybe there's a survivor trying to scramble into their area. Peterbot and Aussie, though, they left Slurpee Swamp wide open, and other teams have tried to move in, but Mongrel doesn't stand a chance. Peterbot letting him know what's good for what feels like the millionth time since yesterday's games. And Peterbot, 2 eliminations already. He is just reminding everybody why you do not challenge him.
I feel like that's just a symbol of Fortnite. Out with the old Mongrel, in with the new Peterbot. Because Peterbot's got to be like the new toy right there. 5 FNCSs. He sees Mongrel once again. A little bit of missed opportunities there from Peterbot. Something that you don't see very often, but at least it lets us know that he is human.
But it's just crazy to think about the fact that Aussie and Peterbot could land at Dirty Docks, and yet no other duo was able to take full advantage of moving into an optimal position at Slurpee Swamp to even try and cut them off. Sure, you've got Booga and Typical Gamer a little ways ahead of them, but even that is a fight that Peterbot is more than open to taking on head first.
Yeah, confidence at an all-time high here. And we saw this elimination on the Mongrel. We let him know what's up right afterwards. Ozzy just kind of playing that safe game. Something that Ozzy just playing his role pretty well, and he's not just getting that big head, that ego, and being invited to a competition like this. He said, hey, I'm just going to do what I need to do for my teammate, and we'll see what happens.
Koyota and Captain Shota, though, they're just going to keep things moving. They don't want to get stuck between multiple teams. They're trying to prioritize just making it into that initial edge of zone. But Koyota is such a prominent fragger. Everybody knows what he is capable of. And I think that's why they're just going to look to hedge their bets on taking this fight with Allier and Mongrel. Allier a little bit too split from his duo. He doesn't stand a chance. Koyota, just a menace to be reckoned with. That'll be his first elimination. And I'm sure that he's bound to continue looking up into the sky for more.
So some of those things you don't see coming with the crash pads and the shockwaves. You think you're safe, but no team is nearby. And a blink of an eye, Allier gets jumped on, put back on respawn. And that's the same pain Mongrel's been feeling. So for this game number 2, Allier and Mongrel have been having such a tough time as Coyote farms another elimination onto Allier. Even if they're not getting the siphon mats, the minis that comes with getting the elimination, it's the points that really matter.
We all knew that follow-up was inevitable from Coyote and Shota, but even more importantly still, we've got a little bit of a listen in with a couple of our fan favorites, Peterbot and Aussie.
Wait, Mongrel.
On you? Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna go kill Allier.
Yeah, yep, nice.
That
Yeah,
beyond?
yep, I'm just getting the sled truck and then I'll help you, okay? Nice, very good.
Farm out here,
Good stuff,
follow Mongrel.
Yep, yeah. Nice, very good stuff, mate.
So now we know what the starting point was like between those two teams. Peterbot just calls the target, Aussie, all too ready to follow up.
If they were just a couple of seconds sooner on getting that elimination onto Mongrel, that would have been another team down and out of the game, but their strategy is not working so well because it's actually Zemi who steals away the elimination, Alex getting all of that loot. As they're trying to base up over here just south of Boomin Base. You see a couple of teams outside of the zone, a couple more inside of the zone, and you're seeing it's Podesai and Nikov, the ones that actually land off in this position, that are trying to take most use of it.
But we just saw Alex with 6 eliminations, 6 points already, Jacob, and yet there's only been one duo fully eliminated from this lobby.
Seeing the struggles that happen if you go down too early. And this is where I start to talk about a little bit of that danger zone. 5th zone going into 6. You're still able to reboot, but where are you going to go? You go too deep into the zone, you could get chunked out even with the barrels. It's Cammy, Jacob trying to play it very, very carefully. They know the whole western side of that zone is going to open up. They know it's relatively low damage, so they're going to hedge their bets in that direction.
But with all that early commotion at Dirty Docks, glad to see Faxity and Reason are still kicking in this one. They're looking like they might be able to get a nice flank opportunity onto a couple of our teams that are pushed a little bit further inside this edge of zone. But Fax and Reason, Big Brother, trying to be careful, doesn't want to overstep his welcome.
You know, when Faxity got in last second, I might have been one of the happiest people being able to watch him play, being able to check out his streams. He is so entertaining, and he's good. He's good. He just needs to get more reps in a competition. You know, you saw that stat. He's placed top 10 in at least 10 of them. He just hasn't been able to pull off that big win. But hey, if he's able to pull off a win here at the FNCS Pro-Am, that's the only one that matters.
His only option is to pull off a victory royale here, Jacob. He said he was getting at least one for the broadcast today, at least one for the fans back home, and he's got to get at least one for Amar. I mean, show the man some love. Everything happens for a reason, though, and we'll have to check back in with Faxity to see what's taking place. Cooper, Zemi, wanting to get a little bit aggressive onto Daya and Setty. They're going to have to sit and wait.
Seeing at least 3 teams over towards Slurpee. One of them's going to get jumped on by Peterbot. That's Jacob who does go down. It's actually Ozzy who gets the elimination. 3rd one of the game, and they get that legendary Slurp juice. It's going to heal up that shield and HP over time if they need it, which they might because the zone is pulling all the way towards the north. I'm not sure who that second team is just outside of Slurpee Swamp with them. It's going to be Flakes and Gone. They need to be careful because Peterbot and Ozzy are warming up and getting more and more dangerous as time goes on.
Oh, but Cammy, he's running out of mobility options and he is being chased out. Jacob already looking grim as far as his HP can take him, though. And he'll buy a little bit more time here, but Gone and Flakes, they're not looking to let things settle. The rest of the lobby also taking notice of this team that's under duress, and Jacob will be forced to duck underneath that bridge, try to reunite with Cammy. Gone and Flakes gonna tarp their way through. They've got enough hard mats to make it happen, but you don't want to burn all of your material too early on.
Yep, it's Flakes and Gone, but let's go ahead and take a listen in for Thomas, HD, and Somerset and how they're playing through this endgame.
1.5, 55. I think we're just gonna have to be a little aggressive.
Wait, there's a
on
guy.
it.
That was the guy from before.
Yeah, there's a team buff.
I like that. I like that. Everybody knows Thomas HD, probably the IGL from the team, but Somerset just letting her opinion be known. We might have to play a little bit aggressive, giving up that information. And if I'm Thomas HD and my teammate says, look, we got to start getting aggressive to close the gap, I would be with it, especially if I got a Mammoth.
Thomas was just so nonchalant about that elimination, too. It's like he had no other expectations but for it to go his way as Alex finds yet another knock, potentially having been stolen away from him, though. But no, it is credited. Nate Hill will one more time be added to the tally count here for Alex and Loserfruit. Oceano showing up big right now, and Loserfruit herself, she said, all I want is to place higher than Locky. And with the way that Alex is firing off on all cylinders right now, he might be able to make it happen.
A power grudge match, and honestly, Alex with those 7 eliminations as that one gets taken away by Cold and possibly Faxity as well. I think this might be the most eliminations we've actually been able to see. I know it's only been 1.5 games so far, but with reboots turned off, that's where the pressure is really going to be felt. Nate Hill, Regs separated a little bit too far for their own liking, especially since they're both going to feel a little bit of that max pull. Regs is going to go down to Thomas HD. One more elimination point for them, and now that leaves Nate Hill by himself.
Cold's bound to have spotted out that body loot, though, that Regs just popped off directly underneath their current position. Courage, a little bit pressed here for the loadout, but he's at least got 150 in that chug jug. They can still work with this. They would definitely like a refresh because every elimination point, we're gonna need to see some of these teams start going big like other individuals already have.
Yeah, this might be one of them. You see, he does have that exotic SMG. Every time he reloads, he does get that 0-point dash effect a little bit. Doesn't last a long time, but hey, in an end game this chaotic, it's the little difference makers that really count. As Jacob and Cam are just trying to go ahead and cement their position, they know it's not a far rotation to zone, but how dangerous this lobby is. They blink and things could turn sideways. Instead of going through, Moxie, Cypher going up and over, and Stable, Ronaldo, Kanata are trying to get denied entry.
Everybody just preventing Ronaldo and Kanata from moving even 1 inch closer. They're gonna be forced to actually pull back, try and drop as much wall coverage as possible, but it's Peterbot and Aussie that are refusing to let Kanata and Ronaldo get any closer. They want full control of this low ground position, and they've got it. They've made Kanata and Ronaldo use so much of their builds. Ronaldo doesn't really have a whole lot left to work with. They're gonna need to find an elimination for a refresh.
Yep, and this is a good opportunity here. Of course, they want a shockwave to the front, but at least they're able to get a little bit of point of view where their competition is at. As soon as they make their way there, box up, let a lot of the zone start to open up. But 2 of 2 games so far. Queasy and Nick at 30 going for that early high ground, 8 zone. There's still a couple more, so hopefully it works out this time.
But it's the Queasy classic, get high, don't die. He said Nick was moving earlier while they were doing their warm-ups this morning. And Nick, he knows sole responsibility, just apply pressure to whatever angle that Queasy doesn't have full tabs on. They just want to prevent anybody from moving up with them.
Got to be careful for those shockwaves. Any team down below could shockwave up. Try to hit a little bit of surprise attack. Ozzy went down not too long ago, which leaves Peterbot by himself. And I said the same thing about Cold. It's a different feeling when you're Peterbot as a solo. He doesn't have to play to help Ozzy. He doesn't have to play to help a duo. He can just play as a solo without a worry, but it comes crashing down for Nick at 30 as Gon and Flakes look up and send them packing.
And Queasy, he doesn't have any mobility. He's going to be forced to actually commit to those lower layers unless he can find a refresh. But the punishment is steep. Peterbot catches Flake completely off guard. Gon now going to be forced to work as a solo from this current zone, and Gon, he's got the high ground. He's trying to stop Thomas in his tracks, but Gon, how much longer can you realistically buy time with this loadout?
Peterbot behind him does have that shockwave. He can make his presence known in the blink of an eye, so Gon has to be careful. A lot of our solos just trying to look bigger than they actually are. Clix is even going for the high ground. Peterbot finds his way in. The legendary slurp juice that he got from Ozzy paying off big.
Anybody else, you wouldn't even bat an eye, but for Peterbot, he's used to working in this kind of operation. The solo scenario is what he can actually pop off in best, but Lacy, Clix, they're a duo compadre unit. They don't have to worry about anybody else because they're taking advantage, just spraying all these teams to the low ground.
They have the chug jug, they have the slurp. down below. Peterbot is trying to hold on to his position, spraying to the backside of the zone. That's Faxity that's feeling a little bit of pressure as they get shockwaved up and off. Clix, Lacy do not have high ground anymore. In fact, they're going to get sneak off for it. First down going to be cleaned up. Clix is firing on all cylinders.
And Clix better because that shockwave sent Lacy the wrong direction, but it doesn't matter. Clix, he finds Alex. That's a huge shutdown to Loser Fruit's team. And even with Clix losing Lacy, he looks like he's got things fully under control in the high ground.
He has to be careful though. He has no real way down in terms of safety. No shockwaves, no crash pads, but he's making sure nobody can look up, so it will not be a worry, especially with the zone floating on over to the side of that mountain. Another solo is going to be Peterbot, and he's running out of his chug jug, and he's running out fast.
That zone was looking awfully devious, but the way that it's pulling back over, this elevation is actually going to be a huge benefit to Clix. He's got these pre-existing builds. All he has to do is keep the pressure at an all-time high. Peterbot might be forced to drop here in a moment, though, but who's he going to drop into? Could it be Cooper? Could it be Kanata? No, instead, layer transition back towards that secondary height. Venom sent to the abyss off that shockwave, and Daya, she'll meet her end, though.
Now, every single person left alive in this game is a solo in this competition, and Setty's just trying to work his way through. All he has is the bare minimum, the siphon match, but if you look up, no, that's not an angel, that's Clix, and he has more legendary slurp juices that he knows what to do with. This is a Clix game.
Kanata, he's reliving the practice moments currently. He doesn't have any heals this time, though, and Setty, don't know if he's in the same kind of position, but look at Clix, an absolute menace in the high ground, just causing so much mayhem for the two down below. Setty finds Kanata. Now it's all up to Clix. Clix trying to make sure he just doesn't get chopped out. Setty, he's got a way to make his way towards the high ground. Clix can't afford a drop. He has to use all of his builds. He still has a couple of slurp juices remaining. He's gonna look for Setty. He wants the finishing shot. He doesn't need the heal up, but he might just look to play it safe anyway.
Siphon mats are so important. That changes the game completely from the situation we're in. Double slurp juice pop. He sends Setty flying outside of the zone, but back he goes, and back he does it. Clix and Lacy win game number 2.
They said they were all night, and it doesn't matter what anybody else might make of it because they came prepared here today. The performance is peaking, Jacob. A victory royale in game 2, and Frankie, even more to say.
If there's anything we learned from that last game, it's that America's sweetheart never plays it safe. Clix, the two of you take the high ground. Lacy goes down. What's your reaction?
I might have shockwaved Lacy into zone, and I knew that would have been a big sell, but it doesn't matter because I won it, so it's all good.
Is that why he sent you into the zone? Because he wanted to do it as a solo, Lacy?
He sent me into the zone, but I trusted him the whole way. I never had a doubt he was winning that.
And while he is winning it, are you talking to him, or are you like, I gotta stay silent, let him do his thing?
I was just giving him simple comms, mats, refreshes, pop his slurp before he goes down to fights, and letting him play.
And you are loving those shockwaves because we saw that Setty got shockwaved into the zone in those final moments. In a way, it kind of won you the game. Is this your favorite item right now in Reload?
Honestly, my favorite item is a spaz. They need to bring the spaz back.
Well, I know that a lot of people from Epic Games are watching, so they might take on your suggestion. But how satisfying was that solo moment? How did you keep track of everything from the high ground?
Honestly, I just kept on building up and up where shockwaves can't get to that height limit, so you basically have no threat. You just keep on playing your game and spraying.
Now, there's an interesting situation that happened at the start of that game, which was that Peterbot and Aussie Antics, they dropped on our leaders from the first game, Cooper and Zemi. Are you worried they're going to be coming your way?
The thing is, me and Peter got a good alliance going on, so honestly, keep on dropping on Cooper and Zemi.
Excuse me, we want a fair fight. Hopefully we're going to have one. Before we head to the break, though, please, Galen Center, show your appreciation for Clix and Lacy. We'll be right back.